Right, so when it comes to having access for you to be able to run ads for Snapchat, the place you need to go to is ads.snapchat.com. So it's either you key this into your tab here for you to visit this link, or you can just come here under your Google search and just look for Snapchat ad. And the first link that will be provided to you, not this one anyway, this one is from MailChimp, but this one is from Snapchat themselves. So you click on this and it's going to take you to this place, then you log in to your account. Once you log in, it's going to bring you to this place, this interface here. So this is the ads manager, and I believe from your knowledge of Google Ads or Ads Manager and Google Ads, to some extent you should be familiar with certain things here, right? So if you've run ads before in the past, you will see all of the ads you've run before in the past, right? And possibly you might see some errors, but there's nothing to worry about. So let's just get right in and see how to set up an ad on Snapchat, right? And if you also remember when we were talking about Facebook ads, we said a typical ad has three stages, which is the campaign level, the ad set level, and the ad level. So we can as well apply the same knowledge that we talked about during our Facebook classes and apply it to Snapchat. So you can see this button here, which is create campaign. So when you click on this create campaign, it takes you to this page that allows you to create an ad, right? And it's bringing me directly to the advanced setup. In yours, it's possible it takes you to the simple setup. Don't worry, if you're able to create this, or if you're able to go through this advanced setup for setting up an ad on Snapchat, it will also be easy for you to go through the simple approach or the simple method of setting up ads on Snapchat, right? So you can see here, this is just the normal stages that you need to go through, which is the first things they will ask you is for you to select your goal or objective. So what would you like to achieve? I remember that whenever you over on this, you always see a short explanation as to what each of this tab or each of this button or objective, what each one of them can do for you or for your business, right? So let's say you're trying to check out what engagement can do. You can over on it and you can decide to click on learn more, and it's going to open this right section that is going to give you short explanation as to what each one of these can do. So this all depends on what you like to achieve, depending on what your business needs. Each business has its own needs, and you'll be the one to ask yourself, what are you trying to achieve at that particular point in time? What are the resources that you have? What creatives do you have? What media contents do you have? Do you have an app? Do you have a website? Do you have a place that you like people to visit? Or do you have a video you like to show people? It all depends on what you want to achieve, right? So I'm just going to pick engagements for this one. Then you have a campaign name here, so I can say Robert and Faith Virtual Class, and you can see the status. So when you see the status here, what it just means is once you are done setting up your ad, it goes directly to the review section, right? You can decide to uncheck it and it's going to be paused. What this means is it won't go directly to the review team or to the review process. So it all depends on you, but personally I like to leave this as active so that before we click on publish or review and publish, we are sure that we would like our ad to go to the review section. Then if you remember your A or B testing that we talked about in Facebook, they call it split testing here. So they do the same thing. So if I click on split testing, you will see that there are test variables here. You understand? So I can test creative. Creative means I can decide to have a media content which is focusing on foods, and I can have another one which is focusing on maybe fast foods. So one can be focusing on maybe traditional food, the other one can be focusing on fast food. Two different media contents, and my intention is after running the ad, I want to know which one of these people are going to relate to it, or which one of them are going to perform best out of the two. And that is what this one does for the creative. Then we have for audience. So it's possible I want to target an audience who is in Lagos, then another one who is in Abuja. So I want to know which one of this audience is going to actually relate with what I'm trying to sell to them, or who are interested in what I'm trying to sell to them. Now we have for placements. If you are familiar with Snapchat, Snapchat has different placements. They can place your ad in stories, they can place your ads in spotlight, they can place your ads within subscriptions, they can place your ads in cameras and things like that. So if you would like to test the best placements where your ad would like to show, this is the option. Then we have for Go, so you can decide. I think we just nearly introduced this one. This one wasn't there before, so you can decide to as well test by Go. Maybe you want to test run, maybe awareness or engagement to give you better results, or maybe app installs, right? And you can see sometimes when you click on some of these things, you might not be able to see certain objective here. So this is what I mean. When I scroll down and I click on Go, when I scroll up back, and you see we have fewer objectives here. So what this means is these are the things that are available. So I can see for Go 1 engagement, right? For Go 2, I'm trying to see if I can select this. So for some reasons I can't click on this. So for some reason I can't click on this. Possibly when I click on next, it's going to give me access for me to click on that. But that is just what split testing does for our ad. But we're not focusing on split testing for now. But you can see that we can actually click on each of these individually once it's downloading for us to have access to it. That is when we are done testing out this. So I'm just going to go back because we're not doing split testing. So I'll go back now. Then I'm going to disable split testing. I'm going to lose my progress, yes. So this is where you set up the start and end date. I'm sure you're familiar with this. So you can decide to select an end date here. Then you also have the daily spend cap, which is a limit how much you're willing to spend per day on the lifetime throughout the course of your ad. We like to give it a limit. And you remember that usually if you're just starting, we don't usually give it any daily or lifetime spend cap, because we won't like to restrict Snapchat from running ads or from using our budgets for them to have better performance. So I'm just going to click on next now. Then it's going to move to the ad set level. I remember under your ad set level is where you do your targeting, right? And this is where you have the name. So I can give it a name. I can say R and J ad set. So next we have Snap Pixel and Snap App ID tracking, right? So these two, we won't be doing it for this class, but basically what these two does is it allows Snapchat to track users' activities either on your website or your app. So take for instance, this is an example. Let's say you're running ads maybe on Snapchat, right? And someone has maybe Jumia as a link that they would like to visit, right? So it's possible somebody sees what was it called? Let's say Jimmy has enabled Snap Pixel, right? Snap Pixel, what this thing does is Snapchat gives you a piece of code. You paste this piece of code on your website so that it will start monitoring users' activities on your website. Once the code has been pasted, when people come to your website and they do a certain activity, as long as you're running ads on Snapchat, when the person comes back on Snapchat, most likely they will see an ad. So this is an example. Take for instance, we're using Jumia as a reference. Jumia wants to run ads on Snapchat. Now what Jumia should do is they will need to come to this Snap Pixel, activate it, ensure they've pasted the code on their website. So when individuals who have Snapchat on their phone visit Jumia by themselves, maybe through their browser or through their any device that they are using, once they visit it, it's possible the person can search for maybe a shoe, right, or a sneaker. Once the person search for a product like that, should the person come back to Snapchat and is browsing around, it's possible the person sees an ad from Jumia advertising sneakers to them. right? So that's why that's how the tracking works. It shows you, or it re-engages you, something you've um tried searching before by yourself, maybe on Jumia's website, and they will try to show it to you again with the hope that you might be interested in the product. So that's what this Pixel and this Snap App ID does. But like I said, we are not using it for our class. So we have our budget here, and Snapchat has a higher budget than others. So if I try to put $2 for our daily budget, you can see that the minimum amount that you can put for daily budget is $5, which is about 5,000 in naira as of now. So that's the difference. At least on Instagram or on Facebook, 5,000 can take you up to like a week or even 2 weeks in some instances. But for Snapchat, you can do that. So this is where you set your end date if you like. Then we have our goal. Do you want the goal to be shares? Do you want to be clicks? Or do you want to be story opens? Right. So a lot of these have different options. Where you can see clicks gives us better option. That is, the ad format that people can interact with is single image or video, story ad, and AR ads. I don't know if you guys are familiar with AR ads. AR ads. Snapchat. If a very fervent user of Snapchat, most likely you might have come across this before, which is when you're trying to use different filters on your Snapchat account, you will see an ad within this filter. You can set up these filters that you are seeing at the bottom here. It's possible, as part of this filter, it's possible to see an ad from a company. So that's just what AR ads, that's what it looks like. But we're going just to be settling with clicks. Let's leave it as clicks and make it simple. Then we have bid. So bid means how would you like Snapchat to spend your money or to spend your budget. So you have three options. Auto bid. Auto bid means let Snapchat decide the best way possible, as long as they're able to achieve what they feel is best for your business. This is what this one means. So the best way that Snapchat feels they need to spend your budget, and whenever you pick this, that's what you're trying to tell them. Then you have target cost. Target cost means you have a particular amount of money that you like or allow Snapchat, right, to spend according to your budget. So what this means is Snapchat is going to use this money to the best way that they can. So this is what I mean. Target cost can be you're giving somebody your credit card and you're telling that person, I have 20,000 naira in my account. I don't want you to exceed this amount. Do you understand? I want you to ensure that whatever you are buying, you are using the budget of 20,000 naira for whatever you're trying to get. You understand? But it's possible if you have more than 20,000, the person can probably spend maybe 20,000 and 100 naira or 20,000 and 500 naira. It is too close to that 20,000. That is target cost. For max bid means the person must not exceed that 20,000 naira. So it's either the person spends below that 20,000 naira or spends exactly that 20,000 naira. So that's the difference between these two. Target cost uses average. What that means is sometimes, depending on the performance, they can spend below or they can spend exactly or above. It will still be close to that 20,000. For max bid, they will never exceed the amount. They either spend below or they spend exactly the amount. And like we said, when you're just starting, don't use any of this target cost or max bid. Just leave it as auto bid. Allow Snapchat to decide the best way possible to spend your budget. So that's it for the bidding. Then we have placement. So placement means where we like your ad to show. So we have this two option. We have automatic placements, which is Snapchat will decide the best place for them to show your ads, or you can do the manual placement, which is very similar to what we saw on Facebook. So these are the different places that you can decide that our ad should show. Because of our time, I'll just leave it as automatic for now. Then we have location. This is where you can target your location. This is what we've talked about in our previous classes. So just select your preferred location. Then we have the age. You can decide to add a restriction to the age. Then you can decide to pick up a age here, depending on what you are trying to sell. Then this is where you have the gender selection. Then you have language, and we have advanced demography. This one is only very good for locations that has to do with probably USA. If we are probably changing our locations, let's come here from United States. Let's change this to Lagos, Nigeria. Yes. So you can see when I come here, you can see we don't have that option anymore below language. What we have now is now this one, audiences. So we have predefined audiences and we have custom audiences. So we have about 30 minutes to go. Let's see if we can wrap up. So we have predefined audiences and custom audiences. So what's the difference? Under predefined audiences, these ones are categories that Snapchat have based all users, everybody who are using Snapchat. Snapchat has categorized everybody into what they are interested in. Right. So if you have a word in mind, you can always come here and search for yourself. So let's say I search for food, so you can see there are different people or different categories of food. So we have things like fast food junkies, pizza lovers, soft drink consumers, and things like that. Right. So these ones are like detailed targeting. We call it detailed targeting in Facebook. So if you have a word in mind, just search for it here, or you can decide to just remove this and scroll through all of this, trying to get which one fits who you're trying to target. So I'm just going to pick something random for this for now, and I'll leave it at that. So we also have custom audiences. We're not talking about custom audiences for now, and in a later class, on one of our classes, we'll talk about custom audiences. What custom audiences just means is, let's say you have a group of emails or a list of phone numbers that you feel they are using Snapchat. We can decide to just narrow down our targeting to a list of those emails that we have or those phone numbers that we have and just target them directly. And that is what custom audiences can do. It goes beyond that too, but we won't talk about much of that. I have expand audience automatically. So what this means is, should all of our selection, that is foodies, gamers, and green living enthusiasts, and this age range, should our audience targeting or people who are interested in what we are selling go beyond any of this targeting that we've selected, as long as they show the interest in what we are selling, as long as this button is activated, it means our ad is going to show to them. And we have advanced setting, which is you can decide to expand whether it is this predefined audiences or expand these custom audiences. What this means is it's going to go beyond this selection that we have here. Instead of just sticking or being rigid with this selection, it goes beyond this selection as long as the individual shows interest. So next we have devices, operating system. You can decide to target people on Android, on iOS. When you come here on iOS, for instance, you can even decide to target people by their iOS version, right? I can even decide to target them by their device's name. So you can decide to just target people who are using iPad Pro, iPad Mini, iPhone 13, 14. So you can actually narrow down your targeting if you want. Same thing for Android. When you come here for Android, you can decide to target it by the operating system, also the device model. So if you feel maybe for Samsung there is a particular user or group of users that you like to target, you have all of this detailed targeting that you can decide to work with. But usually we don't use this because they might be too narrow. We're trying to target as much of as possible, but it depends on what you're trying to do. If what you're trying to do involves you narrowing down your targeting, then that's fine. So I just leave it as all. Then you have connection type, which is what type of connection that the person used to access Snapchat. Is it cell or is it Wi-Fi? I'll just leave it as all. Then we're talking about the delivery, leave it as active. We're not talking about this third party tagging because it's not relevant to our class. So I just click on next. Remember that's the ad set level. Next we are going to the ad level. I remember in the ad level involves what the audience are going to interact with. So what this means is, what are the audience going to see when they come across your ad, right? So this is where your creativity comes in. So we have the name of your ad. For this one, the audience are not going to see this. So I can give it a name like R J ad. Then we have create a public profile. You know, when it comes to Snapchat, if somebody asks your username, let's say you upload a story or you write your bio, the person won't be able to see anything because that's like your private account. But when you create a public profile, what that means is if you upload anything publicly on your public profile, as long as the person has your username and they visits your page or your account, they will see all of the pictures or videos that you've uploaded. So what this public profile does is it gives you a different section that you can decide to put in or to upload anything that you want the public to see. So it's just like Instagram. You know, on Instagram, if the person's account is not on private mode, it means anything the person uploads, whether it is on their highlights, whether it is on their feeds or stories, you'll be able to see it. So same thing, that's what public profile does. Without this, you wouldn't have been able to see it. So we have the brand name. The brand name is what they will see. So I can also say R J restaurant R and F. We have the headline. So let's say I start typing randomly. You can see the text here appearing at the bottom, and you have a word limit of I think 70. Okay, sorry, 34. You have a word limit of 34. So anything you be writing here should be straight to the point and concise. You don't need so much of stories or so much of text. I can also say this 1% off on your third order or something like this. Then you have shareable. It is highly recommended you activate this. What this means is this shareable is this button here, this one. So what this means is the person will be able to share with their friend or with anybody that they feel they would like to send it to. And this feature is also on Instagram. If you use Instagram very well, you can easily share a post to someone without having to share the link or something. Just click on the button and it will ask you who would you like to select. Select them and it will them select. So we have upload. So this is where we can upload our media. We can decide to actually create a media content on Snapchat themselves, or we can browse. So if you've uploaded certain things before in the past and we click on browse, we will see some of the things that we've uploaded. Now the difference between Snapchat and other platforms is Snapchat only supports a mobile resolution image or video. So what that means is it doesn't support like square formats or landscape. It supports portrait. So all of the videos or pictures that you're uploading on Snapchat must be in portrait format, and portrait format, usually the best resolution for portrait format is 1080 by 1920. So the 1080 is the width and the 1920 is the height. So just get that. In one of our upcoming classes we will explain this further. So once I select this, you will see the media content showing right by this. So we have attachments. My attachments can be an AR lens, a call, or text. I'll just leave it as call for now. We're not talking about AR lens for today. So we have the call to action, which is CTA, which is call now, and we have this phone number here. I can decide to add a new phone number, but when you click on, or when you try to add any new phone number here, they're going to click on send a code so as to verify that you have access to it. Right, so I'll just give you this one. I've verified this one already, so I don't have to verify again. Then that's it. We are done. We're going to ignore all of this impression trackers and this. So I can just click on review and publish, which is this next section. So it's going to give you an overview of everything you've set up, and once you are done, just click on publish campaign, and that's it. That's like a quick setup to running ads on Snapchat.